with Aaron Cow.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cow with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
Good Paul Jones Drug Tuesday out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports, right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. We get in all kinds of stuff. Have you seen some of these reports or stories starting to pop up about changes coming in NCAA athletics? There's Pete Thamel on ESPN had a story about revenue sharing that might be on its way. Looks like maybe some of these NIL lawsuits, they're finally, the schools, the NCAA collective are finally thinking about settling. I think they see the writing on the wall, and this is a way to save money up front. But then also, I know Trev Alberts, who left Nebraska with A&M as an AD, he's mentioned anywhere from 15 to 20 million new expenses. A lot of people think that means that's basically like the wages pool that's going to be used to divvy up between the athletes. And then also there was a story from Dennis Dodd about the SEC and the Big Ten working on a plan. My question is, are they working on the same type of plan? Or is this, or does the SEC and the Big Ten see the opportunity to take over college football with a different monetary solution?
Yeah.
I don't know. We can talk about that. NBA playoffs. Thunder swept the Pelicans last night, 97-89. How did they do it? Are you surprised the way those games played out? Do they need to improve on a certain aspect, or is it so matchup-based that it's hard to tell until you see a game or two against whoever they play next? Denver knocks out the Lakers. Big story around the country today is going to be LeBron walking off the floor, as he basically does every series he loses. Does that bother you? I put Mavs Clippers tonight. That's tomorrow night. It's all Eastern Conference tonight. Philly at New York trying to play for their lives. Game 5 of a 2-2 series in Cleveland, and then Milwaukee trying to extend at home, down 3-1 against Indy. Who has the best chance to extend their series? Philly on the road or Milwaukee at home? Then also we got some high school sports. We do know the Class A baseball state tournament bracket after that last regional was completed last night, so we know all the brackets for baseball heading into this week. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line. That is 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. Talk about any of those things or whatever else might be on your mind. Feel free to chime right in at 225-9698. If you're going to be outside the listening area, there are a couple of ways to stay in touch with the show. You can log on to kadsam.com, or you can download the app. The app's got it all. It's got radio. It's got Penny News. Brand new edition of the Penny News will hit the website tonight at midnight. ThePennyNews.com. Of course, Big Elk and Paragon TV. You can see some updated video updates throughout the day from the 4A Girls Golf State Tournament down in Blanchard at Winter Creek. Sean and Gabe are on site. I wonder if Stephanie got those sandwiches ordered.
That's the mystery.
That's the one thing I'm wondering about this deal.
About that
Did
myself.
Stephanie get those sandwiches ordered? Way more than the apparel and the merchandise that was in the shop there at Winter Creek. The burning question is, did she get those sandwiches?
Did Stephanie get those sandwiches ordered?
Did she get those sandwiches ordered? And if so, I wonder what they were.
Yeah, that's the next question. What kind of sandwiches?
So we hopefully have to score some there. Merritt's over at Weatherford 2A Girls State Golf Tournament. 4-peat is imminent in 2A girls. We'll tell you who's going to do that. Mentioned the baseball brackets for A and B. We know those now. And then, of course, now game times. We knew that The Big Elks were going to play Manford yesterday. We now have game times for that 3-game series as well. So I got distracted. I talked about Big Elk TV. It messed up my spiel.
Because you started talking about
Because of
sandwiches.
sandwiches.
That's what got you distracted.
I had a breakfast sandwich this morning. Did you get one?
Yeah. Did yours have pepper jack on it?
Not that
I got a toaster.
No. Oh, no. I got a biscuit.
Okay, I got a toaster and it had
Sausage and pepper jack cheese?
It was bacon.
Bacon? Pepper
bacon,
jack and egg?
Pepper jack and egg
Interesting.
on a toasted bread, and I didn't know it was pepper jack. So, and it wasn't. I mean, pepper jack. It was spicy.
Had a little spice to it. Well, wonderful.
I kind of looked down. What am I eating? Did they put jalapeno? Did they slip jalapenos in here today?
I have to.
It was good. It was real good.
I have to give it up to my wife for something.
Let's hear it.
All right. So yesterday, it was like 4:15. I'm trying to find scores from the golf tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, then I'm also looking at the clock. It's kind of ticking down to where it's time to get the sports report written. And then, of course, voice it and produce it up before, right here about 5 o'clock on these airwaves. Got a little longer on the others, but it all has to be done at once. So anyhow, she calls me. She's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. What's happening? I need you to come outside. We got to show you something.
What? She's outside?
Here.
Oh, here.
Yeah, her and Wyatt were just here. I was like, oh, no. I thought, what happened?
What'd Wyatt do now?
That's what I really kind of in my mind was like, oh, no.
Oh, no. Another bike wreck? What happened, Wyatt?
Did he get hit in the face with a baseball? Did he drop a weight on his foot? What could possibly have happened this time? And I go out, and she opens up the trunk of the car, and I'm like, well, something's in there. And what was it? None other than a big green egg. At least the actual thing wasn't in there because it was delivered this morning. But, one of the ancillary pieces to it in a bag of charcoal. So here's what happened. Did I ever tell this on air? So we got a large big green egg as a wedding gift from her dad back in 2017.
Okay. Yeah. I think you may have told me this. Go ahead.
So then as we were preparing to move last summer, about right now, might even be to the day, it got rolled behind Kara's car, and there were so many boxes and stuff piled up she couldn't see anything, and she backed into it, knocked it over, and broke it, and just shattered it. And it was sad. And so now for the last year, she's been plotting this, and now not only is it a big green egg, Jared, but she went up to the XL instead of just the large.
Oh, boy.
So she went big time. Big time.
So it was delivered.
It was delivered this morning. We rolled it right through. There was only one option. We rolled it right through. It was already on its little nest, little roller thing.
Yeah.
And so the boys from Ace and I rolled her through the garage. Hope she's not listening. We did take it through the kitchen, even though it was brand new. It's okay.
That's fine.
Rolled it right through there, got it through, and now it's out on the patio hanging out. We're ready to get its little wings, its little arms put on it.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. It's incredibly exciting. So, as Sam says...
Are you thinking what you're going to cook first on it? Or
yeah.
And when?
Probably Wednesday. Yeah, thanks, Sam. You just need to give it up to your wife for only just for marrying you. Yeah, that's probably true too.
Well, I think we all
probably true too.
We all feel that way about our significant others sometimes. Yeah. Most time, all the time.
All right, so yeah, that was cool. I was afraid I was going to leave you by yourself here to start.
It was just because
she had just been thinking we needed one because how enjoyable it was to have one before.
Yeah.
And I think, my mom, mom has dads, but she doesn't use it. Mm-hmm. And she's been trying to get me to wheel that up the street since we've moved in. And I'm like, no.
Leave it there.
Leave it there. You might So anyhow.
Well, now that's good because if you go cook at her house, it's there.
Well,
and then you have one
we
at
had to
your
do that
house.
last night. So
Okay.
she's gone. Had steaks laid out. The Yoder is not like the perfect grill to cook steaks. It's great for long cooks. It's not very good for steaks. So that's what we went with down the street there. She was gone, and it did well. But now I can't even imagine what this brand new one and all the food we can cook on it, along with the Yoder. I mean, we could cook. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. So thank you to my lovely wife. I do have some scores from the Class 4A girls golf tournament. You ready to add these up in your head? 13 and 12. That is 25. So 5 and 2. Carry the one. That's 3. 435. Is that the Elkats score? I think 435. 5 under. 17.
You getting that from the app?
17 and 30. No, it's not that high. I went too high. 17, 425. So the Elkats shoot 425 yesterday. Individually, Jaden Manning led the team with a 95. Aaron Womack, 108. Cam Edney, 109. 113 from Megan Suter and 121 from Madeline Long. They are at the Winter Creek Golf Club down in Blanchard. It's a tough track. Weatherford, Elk City in 11th. Weatherford in 12th. The Clinton Lady Reds, though, they've been the best team out here all season long, and they're continuing that. Probably a little too far back to have a realistic chance to win. Fort Gibson plus 38 after round 1. Second place is Marlowe plus 64, and then Clinton plus 70. So that's a par. Is that a 71 or a 72? I think it's a 72. So it'd be 288. That'd be 318. 318 plus 70. All right, I'm sorry, 288 and 70. What's that? 358 would have been what Clinton shot yesterday. So 6 behind second, 32 behind first. I think that the first place is probably a little bit out of reach, but the Lady Reds with the chance to be the Class 4A runner-up. And they like I said, they've been the best team in 4A at least out here all season long. Seems like they've won every single tournament. So good job. Coach Lee, Coach Caldwell's there as well with those girls. And so we'll see how it shakes out today in 4A. I know both of these that we're going to talk about, 4A and 2A, the champion is basically decided, and then it's going to be a race for second. And really, honestly, Clinton 22 ahead of Hilldale going into today between third and fourth. So
really just a two-team race for runner-up.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, depending, and you never know. Somebody may play really, really well, or somebody may falter, and wind conditions are always going to be a thing out here. But unless something really kooky happens, Clinton's trying to catch Marlowe for second, and I think they'll be able to hold off Hilldale for third. And then, the Elkats, unfortunately, in Weatherford, they're kind of in a race to try to get out of the cellar here this year at the 4A state tournament. That's in Blanchard. Then over in Weatherford, Turner is going to win their 4th straight girls golf state title.
Wow. What class is that again?
Class 2A.
2A.
Over in Weatherford. Turner has a 72-shot lead after round 1. They shoot 318. Moreland is in second at 390. Then Hobart third at 411. Hooker fourth at 416. And Merritt is fifth at 424. So, 13 shots behind third, that's not insurmountable by any stretch, especially when let's be honest here. 13 shots back when you're shooting 411, that's an average of 102. And so, that can just be 2 holes where somebody keeps one inbounds and doesn't 3-putt. You know what I'm saying? You can make up those shots with the scores that are being shot by those teams. That's not insurmountable whatsoever. You string a couple of pars together, and all of a sudden you start having 3 or 4 break 100, and you're going to vault past some people. Moreland at 390, that's 34 shots. That's probably too much, but I think Merritt with a realistic chance to figure out a way to get third place if they can play really well today. And I also know that Miley Flowers will be back because she ran track yesterday. We talked about that and all that.
Yep.
I know Miley will be back today. So that'll help because Merritt didn't have a drop score yesterday. They only had 4. So they had to take whatever anybody shot. So, just by her being there could really help them, you know what I mean? She not only because she's been one of their better players, but also just gives you a little bit of leeway to not have to take every score that's shot. It gives you a little bit of a mulligan in case somebody doesn't play very well. So that's good stuff.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff. I think Clinton's hosting like Class A, B. I saw a post from one of their coaches from Hooker. Anyways.
Hooker's at Weatherford.
Man,
they had regionals at Clinton last week.
Maybe I just saw an old post last night.
Yeah,
Maybe
they had regionals last week at Clinton.
Okay, that's probably what I saw.
But yeah, Turner. I mean, you want to talk about dominant. And listen, they've won all of these by, I'm talking massive amounts.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Yeah, they got it rolling.
Yeah, I think they've won the first 3 by over 100 shots.
That's awesome.
I know they have the last.
crazy.
I'm almost positive they have the last 2. And so they 318 at Weatherford. That have a chance to beat some boys teams, if not a bunch of them. That'll be interesting to see because that 2A boys is there next week at Weatherford as well. Kind of compare the scores between what the girls shoot and what the boys shoot.
I don't want to throw. I mean, different. Isn't it shorter for the girls? Different.
I don't care. They don't hit it as far. That's the beauty about golf. It's got its own way to make it even.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I'm gonna throw them. I'm gonna throw the boys under the bus
All right.
if the girls shoot the best score
we'll
of
get
the
to
week.
a battle of the sexes here.
I know.
Let's go.
Well, no,
All
we're
right.
just gonna give it up. Pressure's on you, 2A boys.
That's right.
Pressure's on you. So we'll see what they shoot today. 318 yesterday. I mean, to give everybody an idea of what that means. If everybody shoots 80, that's 320. So they're under an 80 average, which is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal in girls golf. Phenomenal. And that's why they're going to win 4 straight state titles. So that's what's going on in the girls golf state tournaments, 2A and 4A, with the schools around here. You got the brackets pulled up over there? You happen to for baseball?
Yeah.
All right, Class A and B brackets. I can't remember if the B one was out yet. I think it was released a little bit after we got off the air yesterday. Then, of course, Class A had to wait on a regional to finish up yesterday evening. What was it, Ampo and Sterling was the last game?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was, and Ampo won that game. So, and then last night, the official bracket was released for Class A, and you have that. Tell everybody what's going on.
Let's go Class A. Let's start there. And I'll start chronologically. 11 o'clock, Okarche and Wright City, and then followed by Canute will take on number 1 Tushka. Tough out their first matchup there. 4 o'clock, Rattan and Amber Pocasset. And Arapahoe Butler, another local team, will wrap things up against Dewar at 6:30. This is all at Shawnee. The entire state tournament for Class A is at Shawnee High School. Class B, first 2 rounds will be at Moore. Then the championship game will be over at Shawnee. At 11 o'clock, Fort Cobb-Broxton gets Granite, so a couple schools we're familiar with. Get things going. Followed by Navajo, another team that's been really good this year. They'll play Stewart. 4 o'clock, it's Tupelo and Kiowa. And then Roth and Calumet will play at 6:30. There's your Class B bracket.
I'm going to tell you something.
Tell me something.
The rankings from these coaches,
Yes.
off the charts.
Off the charts. Good.
Awesome.
Like awesome.
Okay, so
Because they got it right.
in A and B, in Class A baseball and Class B baseball, the top 7 both made the state tournament. Okay?
Okay.
The number 9 team in both Class A and Class B beat the number 8. Canute beat Caddo, and Granite beat Caney. That's pretty unbelievable. And both of those games, Granite won. They both won by a run to finish off the regional. No, Canute went to extra innings. I don't know that Granite did or not. But, I mean, how close? The point is,
they're close.
The number 9 teams went on the road and beat the number 8s in close games, especially the closeout games. Kudos.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, that is the only way it could have worked better is if it would have worked bad for the guys out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as the rankings go. So that's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm in Class A. I'm really hoping it'd probably be a long shot. I hope I'm wrong for a Canute Arapahoe final. That'd be a heck of a lot of fun because they were supposed to play and got rained out, so they didn't get to play each other this year. And Arapahoe's they have a really good season, have had a really good season, or having one. And Canute is Canute. And then the Class B side, it's Fort Cobb and Calumet looks fun to me. But that first game with Granite, Granite, here they are. They're kind of like their basketball team. Kind of like, oh, who are these guys?
Yeah, except for they've been in the top 10 pretty much all year. I think these teams, Granite and Fort Cobb, have played. And it was a 7-6 extra inning Fort Cobb win.
Awesome.
So that's, I don't know that anybody's scared.
Sets up for a good matchup.
I don't know what Dakota's talking about.
2A.
Oh, yeah. Baseball. He's talking about baseball.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we have.
Yeah, we have it.
Do you have it?
Yep. He's wanting to know about 2A. Where does Merritt go for regionals? I've got it right here. Merritt will head to Cashin. So it's Cashin and Merritt at the top of that bracket, Stroud and Hartshorn at the bottom of that bracket. Of course, Merritt beat Sayre out a couple of games last week in the district tournament. That's how they get here. So it's Merritt and Cashin. That's the 1 and the 4. And then the 2 and the 3 is Stroud and Hartshorn. That's scheduled for an 11 o'clock start on Thursday, according to the website. Now, some of that could change. We saw that last week. Stuff was changing all around the place because of weather. And they try to do it. If they get alerted, if the OSSA gets told that it's changing, they change it on these brackets. Sometimes I don't know that they get alerted to that fact. And so, if it's one of those things. There's so much going on in the spring. I get it for the schools, and maybe if you don't make that last call, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know when it is. The teams you're playing know when it is. But at least what the OSSA site will say, at least right now, is Merritt and Cashin will play at 11, then Hartshorn and Stroud at 1:30. Of course, that's double elimination. One winner will move on to the 2A state tournament next week. We do have game times as well for the Big Elks. The 3 seed in the 4A bracket versus Manford, the 14 seed. Doubleheader on Thursday, 1 o'clock and 3:30 are the scheduled times for that one. Right here at Ackley Park, Charlie Joy Field, 1 o'clock for the Elks and the Pirates of Manford, and then the game scheduled for 3:30. I'm sure if it goes faster, they're not going to mess around with what's possible weather-wise coming up. You just never know. But if they happen to have a complete pitcher's duel that goes 7 innings and it takes an hour and a half to get finished, I don't know that they're just going to wait till 3:30. Both teams are there. Both teams are warmed up. Just let the new pitcher get going, and they'll just happen. So, but at least 1 and 3:30 are the scheduled times for those games on Thursday here in Elk City with the Big Elks and the Manford Pirates. It's really weird. They have not played a common opponent. So it's hard to.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember where's Manford at.
Manford is up by Lake Keystone Lake, and then in northeastern Oklahoma, kind of.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's over there. The reason I know that is when I was a kid, we had my mom's side of the family had family reunions in Manford.
Oh, really?
Around that lake, yeah. So that's kind of one of the reasons I know where that's at. Kind of probably a little north and east of Bristow, I would say. Kind of in that, right up in there somewhere. Yeah. I bet that Keystone Lake is right there.
Not a hard drive, but a long drive.
Yeah, that's, I was wondering if, I mentioned yesterday 11 o'clock would be the absolute earliest on Thursday because of the drive they have. So it makes sense that maybe not the 4 o'clock, 6:30 that we saw last week from some of the other the other schools, but earlier, 1 o'clock, that gives them a chance to they don't have to get up super duper early to get out here and get ready to go in that 4A area tournament here at Elk City. So there's your spring sports rundown. Don't forget Big Elk TV all day. Have updates throughout from the 4A state tournament in Blanchard. When we come back, the Brooms were out in New Orleans. The Young Thunder setting records. We'll tell you what, how, when, and where on Skinny on Sports right here on a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday.
Paul Jones Drug is Elk City's most experienced compounding pharmacy, meaning they can custom make your prescription medications to your doctor's specifications, safely and effectively providing you with exactly what you need. And for your convenience, Paul Jones Drug has a drive-through pickup window as well as curbside service for testing and vaccinations, and offers free local delivery. Just a couple reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
The Skinny on Sports.
You can't say on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Welcome back to Skinny on Sports. 98.1 FM, 1240 AM, KADS, the Sports and we'll just give you a rundown of all the spring sports taking place right now. Coming up this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, weather pending, with baseball, what the Big Elk's going to do. Also, keep in mind slow pitch softball. I think one of the brackets starting today.
Today, not the older schools, the bigger schools is today. We don't have anybody really playing.
Not really. Now, tomorrow we'll have Hammond playing, we'll have Canute playing, and Arapahoe Butler will be playing. All at Hall of Fame.
Yeah, 4A's today, 5A's today, 6A today. Is 3A the one that may be tomorrow? Yep. Yeah, 3A down is tomorrow. 4A and up is today with the slow pitch. That is correct. It's Paul Jones Drug Tuesday. Thank you to Rodney and the gang at Paul Jones Drug. Care you can trust right here in the Elk City area. Paul Jones is the oldest compounding pharmacy in Elk City. That means they have the most experience at it. Free local delivery, drive-through pickup, curbside testing and vaccinations. And, of course, that long-term care unit packaging, that's their blister packs. 809 North Main, Paul Jones Drug. Care you can trust. Okay, Jared. I don't know how many people got to see it last night. Boy, there was – you know how I know the Thunder is good, but also the Thunder is back to being kind of lovable?
What?
Grandmas are mad on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Mad on Facebook because of the blackout by NBA TV of the Thunder Pelicans closeout game. Here's the deal. If you paid much attention, we knew this was coming as soon as the Lakers won a game. The NBA basically announced this at the end of last week, that if Lakers-Denver went to 5 games, Game 4 was going to be on the NBA network for Thunder and Pels. That doesn't make it any easier to stomach when you can't watch this lovable young team become the youngest team in history to win a series, sweep a series. I mean, all that stuff. They were the youngest to be the 1 seed, the youngest 1 seed to win a series, the youngest 1 seed to sweep a series. All of it last night in a 97-89 win over New Orleans. Josh Giddey came alive from behind the arc and knocking down a couple of threes. Huge plays, hitting threes, blocked a shot of Herb Jones, kind of in that moment where it felt like, this may be coming back to Oklahoma City. Pelicans up 5, starting the fourth quarter. He makes a couple of threes. He blocks a shot. Next thing you know, give the ball to Jalen Williams, and he took over at the latter stages of the fourth quarter for the Thunder to pull away and win. How did they do it, Jared? How did this team succeed this quickly in the playoffs, which is, I mean, listen, it's not like they've made this massive leap into the NBA Finals or anything, but we always talk about kind of the stair step or the ladder that you've got to climb as a young team in the NBA, and it sure seems like Oklahoma City going from the play-in to the 1 seed, now in the semifinals of the Western Conference, sure seems like they've jumped over a few of those rungs of the ladder on the way in this year's run.
The key word is team. I think there's such a good team that plays together. That comes with the territory of being young. They're still getting their feet wet in a way and figuring out this league, and they're figuring it out in a hurry, clearly. But the team play, if it's not one guy one night, it's another, and there's times, sometimes say, hey, be selfish and take that shot, but there's always that extra pass sometimes you see. Those little things. I think that's a big part of it, is just they just play so well as a team. You hear that talk a lot. Like, this team is so much more fun to watch because they play with each other, they play together, and it's almost blasphemy to say that they're funner to watch than the first generation with Durant and Westbrook and Harden. That was a fun run. Let's not kid ourselves. And I think people say that out of bitterness because they want to throw a barb at KD in every way possible. But to answer your question, I think it's just that right now they're playing so well as a team, and they're not selfish. Like I like how they know, okay, it's time for SGA to take over. Or it's, we got to get the ball in this guy's hands. Or, yeah, Giddey has the odd hand. He needs to take more shots. We need to get it over there. Stuff like that. It's really, really been pleasing to watch.
Yeah, and you don't see, SGA is clearly coming to his own over the past couple of years. Back-to-back All-NBA first-team selections he's going to be, or is. All-Star starter this year. And for him, and still, by the way, young, 25? 26, still at the early stage the early stages of his growth in his career, being able to have the confidence and the security in his own self to hand the ball to J-Dub at the end of that game and just say, go to work, big guy. You know what I'm saying? And you don't. I think at least so far. And maybe we're thinking about the end of the Durant Westbrook time more than this early stages of it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, didn't it always seem, even from the very beginning, once people could tell that this team was there, that team was on a mission and on a trajectory to be, the team they really kind of became, short of actually winning the title. It always felt like from the beginning of that, people were constantly trying to drive a wedge between those two players.
Yeah.
And maybe the personalities were so much different that it was easy to do that no matter what they said. It was obvious Russ was the fiery guy. KD was the quiet one. Why is Russ taking so many shots? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like that's happened yet. And maybe that's because nobody in the national media has actually watched this team play.
Did you see after Saturday what they did?
Oh, yeah, the Allie LaForce thing? Yeah, and then last night they went to the NBA TV people first. I just think, listen, I don't think
you're right. Not a lot of people
I don't think they did that on purpose, like it's a middle finger to anybody.
Yeah.
I just think, listen, they see Nick Gallo, then they love that. It's just like young kids seeing their favorite teacher and running over to him.
Right.
Yeah. But, you see different analysts talking about this team. I think it was Jason Terry asking, what they need. And he said they need a shooter. They led the league in three-point shooting, you idiot. Like, they don't even, what?
Yeah.
Have you not? This isn't, it's almost like the analysis for a lot of these guys is the same thing they thought about that team back then. This team is completely different than that team.
It is.
Do they have the ability to ISO you up and go score? Yes, a few of them do. But the ball moves so much better. And when it ends up in somebody's hands, they have such a better chance to make it than a lot of those guys on the first part of this Thunder run way back when. So, I think part of the reason why it's been such a kind of an easy fairy tale type run so far is simply because no one has paid attention. No one has written that SGA and J-Dub don't like each other article. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot harder to write that article when you actually watch these guys interact with each other. And a big part of that is at the end. To me, when they do huddle up as basically the entire team around whoever. Like last night, they pulled Lou Dort in and made him be the guy.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the special part of this that maybe is different than the first time the Thunder started this young, is you don't sense even a hint of jealousy, of what you want to call it, competition between, the players. It does feel like this group is completely on the same page. Now, a year and a half from now, who knows? Because here's another thing they really haven't experienced yet, Jared. Much adversity.
No, I'm sorry. That's where I was going to go, is we are in the honeymoon stage. You equate this to a marriage, right? The first year is really nice and fun, and if you can get – but there's going to be bumps. So we're in the honeymoon stage right now. We're in love with these guys. We're loving what we're seeing. But when that adversity comes, what's going to happen? So get ready for it. I mean, and then the narrative will start with, oh, look, did you see the look that SGA gave Giddey when he made that pass, when he took that shot or something? They'll blow it up. They'll blow it up and try to blow it up and cause that friction. It'll happen. It's kind of the glories of being in a small market, though. I mean, just look at last night with the Lakers losing. The immediate question was, what's going to happen to LeBron and what's going to happen here? That just under the microscope all the time. And maybe it is kind of nice that they're not under the microscope all the time. But with the celebrity comes, with the fame of this, because they will be, it's coming. They keep winning, and they keep winning at a high level. All that's going to come. It comes with the territory.
It does. It does. And I think, like I said, the first time with Westbrook and Durant, I think a lot of people, because Durant was already the star in college at Texas, just right there, and he was such a different looking player, which we're more accustomed to seeing now. Think it was Dirk and him as far as like 7-foot guys that could shoot. That's about it back when they first came on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then Westbrook was kind of the little engine that could type guy. He was nowhere near the established player that he would become and did become. He was an MVP of this league. But it did seem like there was always just a little bit, and I think it was personality. Westbrook was so competitive, and it felt like Durant wasn't, even though I think he probably was more than we thought because of how he handled it. But there was also the Durant was more of the chosen one versus Westbrook was kind of, the Batman and Robin scenario. He was the Robin to the Batman, and then Harden was something else that didn't even want to be a part of any of it, so he left before it really got started, right? Here, I mean, I think maybe at least right now, J-Dub is way more accepting of being Batman or being Robin to SGA's Batman right now than Russ maybe ever was. I don't know. But I think you're right, though, the media, the fact that, all these guys, the story is who's not there more than who is there, at least right now. Because for the first time since 2005, you will not have Steph Curry, LeBron James, or Kevin Durant in the second round of the NBA playoffs.
Let me ask you, do you approach, now that first run was new to everybody here as a large, or as an NBA state. It was all new and it was fun. And then first, getting to the finals and obviously not winning, getting close again and losing out to Golden State in the Western Conference Finals, Kevin Durant leaving, all that. Do you approach this run like cautiously optimistic? Like,
No, because I don't even think the title window's open.
Zero expectation.
There is. I mean, now, if it, I said this the entire time, until we saw kind of, when we thought maybe it was the Lakers could have been the opponent in the first round, I think I said right here on these airwaves that, will it be a little disappointing to lose in the first round, but it's not a embarrassment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's disappointing. It's just kind of what happens in the playoffs. But then once you start to see, okay, you get New Orleans, That's the point where it's like, okay, you have to win this series. You're the 1 seed. You played as good or better than anybody all year in the Western Conference. You need to win this series. And what they did, they swept it. And it's so weird because, think about what we talked about with the 1 and the 2 or the 3, all the way down the stretch of the season. It turns out getting that 1 seed, not just for home court, but was massive for the matchups that you don't have now.
Yeah.
No offense to the Clippers or Dallas, but there is nobody on the face of this earth that would rather play Denver or Minnesota than one of those other 2 teams in the second round.
By the way, that's going to be phenomenal.
Oh, I can't wait. We'll get to that. But, I mean, you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
It turned out that, and then, of course, if you're able to win that one, then you got which one of those 2 teams, and you have the home court advantage. That'll turn out to be a massive thing. But they're ahead of schedule, and even if something happens and they lose this next series, this is still going to be it's going to be a huge step forward. I really don't think you can have much negative to say outside of just the immediate reaction of they lost and didn't get to the Western Conference Finals as the 1 seed. Like outside of just that statement, for what was expected and what we've seen and what it looks like is ahead, I just don't know how you turn any of that into a negative. I think it's all sunshine and rainbows for now.
What have I always said? Everything's a bonus for this point, right? They're ahead of schedule. They've took that next big step. Last step was give yourself a chance. They got in that playoffs or play-in scenario this year. Win a series. Well, they did that emphatically.
Well, heck, for me it was get to the playoffs. Before
mine,
even win a series.
Mine was
now
win a
as
series.
it went, but as it went, listen, if you were the 6th seed and didn't have to be in the play-in game, that was going to be hard to have that expectation of win. But once we saw this is one of the best 3 teams in the West, at least in the regular season, you're going to get to host. Maybe it kind of went from get to the playoffs to host. Then when you saw who it was in the first round, it did end up to we need to win this.
Win this series, yeah.
This needs to be a series that is won. And then now I think you're to the for sure. I think now you're to the gravy part of it.
Again, it goes back to my question, I guess, was I still everything's a bonus. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like I'm not gonna rip off my Thunder jersey if they were to lose.
Oh no,
at this point.
No, me neither.
Because
Absolutely
they're
not.
ahead of schedule, and it's just if anything, I'm will be excited about the possibilities moving forward in the next year.
No doubt. And then eventually the questions are going to have to start.
Those being who's getting paid,
and it's funny because as players right now, and Jeremy's talking about this on our text line, as players right now, J-Dub is way ahead of Chet. But if you were forced to trade one of those 2, who would you trade?
Well, it'd probably be J-Dub.
I think it would almost have to be because of the ceiling that Chet appears to. I'm not saying that Dub doesn't, but I think he would be the odd man out in the 3. And we've kind of seen that 3 isn't possible, but it's kind of moving on from the 3 model. But here's the difference between this 3 and all those other 3s. This 3 still is on their rookie contract.
Yeah,
2 of them.
Yeah,
and they're not going to have to pay the exorbitant amount of money to Dub and Chet yet on the second contract, and so maybe 3 is doable because of how young they are.
Right. And final thoughts on all that is, I've told myself this was my mistake, and I guess part of my question was when I asked you about what we learned from the past going into this run now is my mistake was I got too attached to Harden, too attached to that's a I guess a rookie fan mistake. So I love having these guys here, but I'm not. I guess I have trust issues. What if SGA gets a call from Toronto, gets a deal, when free agency rolls around, or whatever. So I'm soaking it up while it's happening right now. It's pretty fun.
All right, first off, this is a conversation for 2 years from now.
I know. Looking up contracts?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, SGA. SGA is here through 26-27 season. So this is actually the first year of his extension. So he's here for 3 more. We know Chet is here for 3 more because this is only second. Then J-Dub would be, well, actually this would be both of their seconds. They were drafted in the same draft. Yeah, obviously. So we know we've got this for at least 2, if not 3 more seasons before anything even has to matter money-wise. That's pretty incredible. I think Dort is locked up for a couple years past this. So he signed that extension. Was that last summer or the summer before last?
I think it was last summer.
Okay, so he has a team option. Yeah, so this is the first year of his 4-year deal, and the 4th year is a team option. So what we're saying is, yeah, those questions are going to come, and they'll probably really get loud by the time it gets to this point because we'll have so much time to talk about this because they're so young and they're locked up contract-wise. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those questions are going to come by 2026, 2027. But that's a long ways away. A lot can happen. A lot can happen good, and a lot can happen bad. We've seen that. We've seen both of those things.
A little bit of everything.
We've seen both of those things, not only here, but also, in Golden State, where it really went good. And I think that's, for Thunder fans, I think that's what you've got to lean on or hope for, is that this group's mentality and their personalities are a lot more like what the Warriors were than what the early Thunder were.
Yeah.
And they play that way. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They play more like the Warriors than the early Thunder. I think that's what you got to hope for. But it's fun stuff either way. You ever have Mavs Clippers? Here's another thing. You're not going to see much Thunder basketball. Earliest probably Sunday. If one of those two teams wins, because they'll play Wednesday, they'll play Friday, maybe Sunday.
Wins the next 2.
Yeah, somebody wins the next 2. If it goes to 7, that game is Sunday. You'd probably think Tuesday of next week, a week from today. If it's a 7-game series. If not, Monday or Sunday or Monday. Probably Sunday would be game 1 in Oklahoma City. So, and, if it's the Clippers, all that does, it doesn't matter who wins. You want it to go 7 if you're a Thunder fan, because all that does is wear them down more. And unfortunately, like we saw last night in Boston, or in Miami with the Boston Celtics, it also gives them, it just flat out gives all these players another game and unfortunately another chance to get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just the brutal facts of playoff basketball. Every extra game you have to play is another chance for bad things to happen to the health of your team.
So that's the question: is that what? Because we were like, what's wrong with the Thunder after game 1? Well, I equated it to being off for a full week, maybe 8 days. So what are we rooting for here? We rooting for this series to hurry up, or a scenario like that? You want them to beat up on each other and
Absolutely.
wear themselves out.
Go all the way. Go all the way to 7, because no matter, and especially if they're really, like the game the other day, looked like it was a blowout. Next thing you know, Dallas comes back from 31 down and has a lead with 2 minutes to go. You hope they're hard-fought, intense, 3 more. Because that way, the chances of whichever team wins being overly fired up for game 1 Tuesday aren't very high. They're going to be drained. And you see this a lot where, if there's, and especially if it's the better team, which I think the Thunder are better than either one of these as far as how they are right now health-wise. A lot of times the team that's coming off the long, hard-fought series almost just sort of throws in the towel game one and tries to recover and give it their best shot for game two.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And to be able to try to get that steal of one of the first two games. So, and maybe not. Maybe those other two teams wouldn't do that. But, the more games they play, the more chances it is for something bad to happen for them health-wise, especially when you look at the histories of the Clippers. Harden's been hurt. Russ has been hurt. Paul George has been hurt. Kawhi's hurt now. They've all had some nicks and some things that have kept them out of series in the past. So, I think you're going to see. I think you'll see if it's a 7-game series. Game 7 will be on Sunday, and Game 1 will be on Tuesday. They'll get one day, and then we'll come right back at it against the Thunder. Anything else?
I heard him talk about the proximity thing with Dallas being right down the road, essentially.
Oh, I could see there being a big, giant rivalry. But that's how it's created, right? It's created through playoff matchups.
Yeah. Oh, I know Memphis a little further away. They're still on I-40. That kind of brewed into a little rivalry, at least between the fans it did.
Oh, if it players too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was hard-fought physical series year in, year out that it took to get that. I mean, there's a natural argument between Dallas and Oklahoma City fans already. Who's better, Luka or SGA? I mean, that's an obvious sticking point between the two fan bases.
I think for entertainment value, that's the series I would want, right?
Well, I don't know, man.
Then there's the storylines with the Clippers and Russ.
Russ here. How fast do you think it would take the Thunder fans to turn Russ into a heel if he did something like he did the other night in Dallas? Because right now it is nothing but love for Russell Westbrook. A playoff series might change that.
Yeah, I told somebody I don't want it because of how emotional and weird it would just be.
I don't think it would be for the current players. I think it would be for him and the fans.
Sure.
I think the players, they don't care.
I think you just hope Russ gets thrown out in the first 5 minutes. And then, we don't have to boo him now. He's gone.
I don't think that's would be the hard part. It'd be easy to boo Durant. I don't know if anybody's booing Russell Westbrook right about now.
That's what's the weird part. That's the emotional weird part about it.
It changed the entire complexity of the relationship.
You seen that famous meme or gif of who is that heartbreak kid, and he gives the
Shawn Michaels to Marty Jannetty. Absolutely.
Or to Ric Flair, and he says, "I'm sorry."
No. We'll be back. Hang on.
Paul Jones Drug offers a free service that makes taking your daily medications safe and easy. It's called convenience packaging, meaning they can combine all of your daily medications and put them in sealed, separate daily packages. This process replaces you from having to fill your daily medication dispenser. And as always, Paul Jones Drug prepares individual blister packaging for long-term care patients. With their drive-through window, curbside service, and free local delivery, it's just more reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street, Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
Hey! Is this heaven? No.
It's the Skinny on Sports.
Welcome back. Wrapping up a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday on the Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Also, don't forget today. You remember what today is, Jared?
It's a chicken fried steak day at Boomtown Grill?
It is. It's a $5 chicken fried steak and one side special at Boomtown Grill. That's every Tuesday at 2103 South Main here in Elk City. Boomtown, it's not just chicken fries, though. They got it all. If you want a steak, you want chicken, not chicken fried steak, but just chicken, or seafood, pizza, pastas. Of course, coming up Thursday is the 50-cent boneless wing special. Happy hour 2 to 6, Monday through Friday. 11 beers on tap, 30 bottles and cans. Import, domestic, huge wine selection, all kinds of cocktails, sandwiches, salads. They got it all. 2103 South Main in Elk City, Boomtown Grill. Open 7 days a week, 11 to 10 Sunday through Thursday, and 11 to 11 on Friday and Saturday. All right, so back to we were both right about Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
I was referencing the initial Shawn Michaels' stardom was back in the late 80s to early 90s as a part of a tag team duo known as the Rockers with Marty Jannetty. And Shawn Michaels turned heel in the barbershop with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Beefcake the Barber, I can't remember Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And threw Marty Jannetty through the window of the barbershop. Years later, you had the solo HBK literally apologizing to the legend Ric Flair before he just kicked him right in the face and knocked him out.
Like, that's how it'll feel. That one, the last one, Thunder fans, if they have to eliminate Russell Westbrook.
You think J-Dub will look at him and go, I'm sorry, Russ, as he's dunking it in his face to end it?
I think Sam in the stands will be feeling that way. Sorry, bro.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. But your career's over.
You're done. Portal news. Oklahoma State loses. McDonald's All-American from Wright in Oklahoma City, Brandon Garrison, played 1 year for the Pokes. A lot of people thought he might go to Oklahoma. Instead, he is headed to the Bluegrass State. He has committed this morning to play for Mark Pope at Kentucky. So Brandon Garrison goes to Kentucky from OSU. Otega Oweh goes to Kentucky from OU. That happened a couple of days ago. So the Sooners had chances at 3 different portal guys, all hailing from the state of Oklahoma, with Overton, Padula, and Garrison, and they're 0 for 3. So tough break.
Yep.
I know Mosier started filling out his team, so he's got a few guys in the last few days, but that hurts not to be able to get any of those 3 guys from the state of Oklahoma. Now, I know there was a big discussion on NIL when I was driving in today about how, Oklahoma's kind of put it into football, and I think 99.8% of their fans agree with that choice. You know what I'm saying? I think that's obvious. But at the same time, a lot of that 99.8 will gripe about lack of NIL. Well, guess what?
Can't have your cake.
Some places you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's
Yep.
exactly right. So Oklahoma misses out on Garrison.
All right.
We'll save the money talk for later with the NCAA. That's just kind of breaking as far as what might happen. So we'll get an idea of maybe what that could be. Don't forget Big Elk TV today. Updates from the Class 4A girls state golf tournament down at Blanchard at Winter Creek. Anything else? State tournament softball tomorrow. Boys golf will be here, regionals at Elk City.
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Sure, we'll have updates from it. Merritt, I know Possum's son, Snake, Chenault, Jake, he heads to Boiling Springs. So a 2A regional at Woodward. Then, of course, baseball gets going Thursday. Small school state tournament, regionals for 2A, and area for 4A. So we got lots and lots coming up. Thank you to Rodney and the gang at Paul Jones Drug. Paul Jones Drug Tuesdays each and every week here on the Skinny on Sports. We'll be back tomorrow. Quickly, will either Philly or Milwaukee extend the series tonight?
Philly.
I think they got a better chance even though they're on the road.
Yep.
Everybody have a great Tuesday.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered to right. Way